Thank you for being here. Our next presentation comes from Defiance Silver Corp. And with us today are Chris Wright, Executive Chairman and CEO, and Doug Cabey, who is the Technical Director of Defiance Silver. Gentlemen, please tell us about Defiance.
Good morning, Jacob. Thanks for having us, and thank you everyone for joining. Defiance Silver is a Mexican-focused exploration company. We have two standalone projects. One is our San Nicasio silver asset located in Zacatecas, and the other is our Tapal gold-copper asset located southwest of Guadalajara in Michoacan. Quickly, a little summary on the cap structure of the company. We have approximately 185 million shares outstanding. We trade on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol DEF. Current market cap somewhere in the neighborhood of about $115 million, and we have about $10 million in cash. I think at this time what I'll do is I'll turn it over to Doug to talk a little bit about each of the projects quickly.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. As Chris mentioned, we do have two assets in Mexico, a primary silver asset located in Zacatecas, Mexico, about 4 hours northeast of Guadalajara, and the Tapal project, which is a gold-copper asset located in Michoacan, Mexico, about 4 hours southwest of Guadalajara. So we base out of Guadalajara and operate in regional offices on both sites. The project we'll start talking about today is Zacatecas district projects. They're within the billion-ounce Zacatecas silver camp. Zacatecas is a prolific area to look for silver. Some of the largest operating mines in Mexico are located in Zacatecas. Penasquito, Camino Rojo under development, and then of course, prolific Fresnillo mine, located about 40 kilometers northwest of the Zacatecas Silver San Nicasio projects. We have an option to acquire 100% ownership. We acquired that option in 2011. We also have an agreement to have purchased a 2.5% NSR on this project. So it's a clear path to 100% ownership. When we acquired the project, we tabled the historical work and came up with a 16.9 million ounce resource, and that was all done on the historical work. And we've done about 5,000 meters of drilling since then. That being said, this project is a very historic project. It's been in some way, shape, or form in production for almost 450 years. It was discovered in the mid-1500s and has undergone a very extensive different types of exploration and development, open pit mining and underground mining on site. So, and within 60 meters of our property boundary, there's been active mining up until March of this year. So, very well endowed camp, very well recognized piece of property in the area. Within the immediate area of the project, in the immediate sort of operating sphere, we have the Cozamin mine, which is about 6 kilometers away from our project area, and that's operating about 6,000 tons per day right now, and they've made some spectacular discoveries in the past 5 years. So a lot to anchor into there. Our project itself has had about 150 million ounces, or the Veta Grande itself has had about 150 million ounces of historical production, so a very well mineralized system. Our two projects are located on the Veta Grande and the Malanoche vein, so the two main mineral belts in the Zacatecas district here. And like I said, the 5,000 meters of drilling that we've done have extended the known mineralization vertically about 230 meters below the current resource estimate. And some significant intersections have been found both within the Veta Grande and in the hanging wall of the system. We're blessed with excellent infrastructure, excellent access to equipment, skilled crew, skilled labor. We can drive to the property 6 kilometers away from our office. You take a paved road right to the project. You can fly Zacatecas International Airport. You can fly direct flights when direct flights are going from Dallas Airport. So it's a really well located project area. And as I said, it's a prolific mining district. We like to consider it as Fresnillo in the 1960s. And that analogy is that Fresnillo in the 1960s was out of ore. We have a very similar crustal position and crustal blocks. And in the 1960s, when they were out of ore, Fresnillo was at our project. They had an option to acquire the San Nicasio project, and they were there looking for mill feed. Fast forward 40 years, they made some discoveries, and now they're the world's largest primary silver mine. It's hard to imagine that the world's largest primary silver mine was out of ore in the 1960s, but it really proves that discovery-focused geoscience works. When we came onto the project, we were really just tasked with stripping it down, and it was not it was a tall order. It took a lot of heavy lifting to get the database into a place where we could begin to 3D model, but we came up with some pretty compelling targets. And one of the key things that we came up with was there's a significant amount of mineralization outside of the Veta Grande structure, and some of the highest grade mineralization occurs in the hanging wall of the Veta Grande in veins that look to be a different mineral event altogether. Principally, we've come up with about 3 target zones that we're going to be testing in an upcoming drill program. We have the Veta Grande hanging wall veins, the Veta Morada and some of the Veta Blanca, but some of the other hanging wall veins and deeper targets within the Veta Grande. And then the Veta Grande deep targets, which are, we think, a down-drop block mineralization along strike of the Veta Grande within the Veta Grande structure, as well as some very interesting surface veining and epithermal veining located in the Veta Grande footwall. Our first target area is the El Mirador Almaden area, which has seen some historical mining. It was a principal mining area up until the mid-1990s. And that's where the bulk of our resource estimate was tabled to. And in this image, you can see on the right-hand side a very faint line, the area of the 2014 resource. And you can see that 2014, 2015, and 2017 drilling did extend that resource area about 230 meters below. But the real interesting stuff is that there is a nice high grade, a bunch of high grade mineral structures that occur outside of the Veta Grande in the hanging wall. Our analogy really is the Santo Niño discovery, which was done by Fresnillo in the 1960s. In the 1960s, Fresnillo had run out of ore. And in 1975, as a result of this discovery-focused geoscience, Fresnillo discovered the Santo Niño vein at about 300 meters from depth, and that was 3 meters of 1,000 grams silver, 1.5 grams gold, and about 1% combined lead zinc. And we've seen those very similar numbers in a different mineral structure than the Veta Grande, up to about 3 kilograms silver, 0.5 gram gold, and call it 4% combined lead zinc. And we have a photo of that right there, where you can see it's actually looks to be a mineralized fault breccia or mineralized structure that is a different mineralogical signature than the Veta Grande itself. We plan to test this. We plan to test the depth extents of the Veta Grande, trying to get really into the roots of this system here. We do have some camp scale analogy. We know that our neighbors, Capstone Mining, are down about 1,000 meters into their system, and our deepest hole is about 400 meters. So a lot of proof and concept with these systems having legs at depth. The ongoing model and the ongoing targeting right now is that there is a long-lived mineral system here, much like at Fresnillo. We have a lot of evidence of blind veins, and we have a lot of evidence of system overprinting going on here. One of the key indicators that we've seen was located in a section line, SAD 17, 12, 13, 14, which was some of the highest grade drilling in the 2017 program, if not the best results of the 2017 program on the property. Some of them included, 27 meters of 150 grams silver. So pretty nice results. But what we noticed was that there is a bulk of mineralization outside of the Veta Grande, but where we are seeing it's cross-cutting the Veta Grande structure. So coming later as primary silver sulfide veins, indicating a secondary or third mineral event. And as we started to pull these drill holes, and we pulled them along section, we could pull them about 100 meters above the Veta Grande, and they do project down sections. So a pretty nice buried target of a blind vein, composite veins at depth. And we do have some drill holes planned for this upcoming program to test these targets and the Veta Morada structure as well. Veta Morada is a surface structure, is a fault structure that we have mapped on surface for multiple kilometers across the property, and does have some silver mineralization, gold mineralization at surface. So we plan to do 3 or 4 holes into this depth extension here of the Veta Grande, but as well to test these hanging wall veins here in this part of the property. The other takeaway from the 2017 drill program was that some of the highest impact drill holes that were aimed to test some of the widest stopes and some of the widest intercepts of mineralization earlier in the mid-1990s missed the target depth altogether. So getting some holes to extend what we believe the projection of the Veta Grande is at depth underneath some of these quite wide 20 to 25 meter stopes. And what's our strategy to add value at Zacatecas? It's to not reinvent the wheel. It's to follow a very systematic methodology for exploration. We're going to drill deep targets along the Veta Grande around the existing resource envelope, expanding that resource envelope and really expanding the mineral package. We do have some legs to go with that expansion. We did extend it about 250 meters in the previous drill program. So just looking at that mineral envelope and where it can go. We're really keyed into these hanging wall structures and some of the footwall structures as well. But the big thing is to understand what the mineral events and the main mineral structures are to identify these new targets in what have been very underexplored areas. This whole project is suffered from a paucity of modern exploration. Currently, we've got follow-up re-logging, resampling of all the historical drill holes on the property, and that's really to understand what the mineral systems are at San Acacio and Lagartos. We're seeing new mineralization every time we go look at the drill core. There is limited drilling in the footwall, limited drilling in the hanging wall, and we've got strong surface veining both in the footwall and the hanging wall. Drilling in 2020 is about 5,000 meter program. We can jump that up to 10,000 meters, and we've got sort of a budget working for both, and they're testing those hanging wall and footwall targets in the Beta Grande structure at depth. We're seeing a lot of high-level epithermal overprinting, deeper epithermal mineralization, so indicating there's 2 or potentially 3 systems, and we have seen the drilling intersecting the top of another system at depth. So our target really is the Santo Nino blind composite veins, and then if we can get deeper into the melanotite-style targets. We've been doing a data compilation in the district, covering all the relevant historical, geologic, and recent geologic data that we can acquire. And this really does get dovetailed into our 135,000 hectare database of the area, about 1,300 square kilometers. In 2018, we purchased Mag Silver's Zacatecas land holdings as well as their database in the area. So it's about a $10 million early stage exploration database, but it also consists of about 55,000 meters of drilling on our project and other projects in the area. In the near term, we've got this property surface geochem program. It's about, let's be about halfway done by the end of this month. And that's to fingerprint the mineral system in the metal zonation. You can't find metal in all parts of a mineral system. So we got to fingerprint where we are in the mineral system, and that's going to really lead to where we're going to put the drill and where we're going to move the drill next. We have a permit on our property right now for this upcoming drill program, and we do have some additional permit applications that are going in. Really, this is just to explain that this current pandemic that we're in, things are operating slower. SEMRNet offices are closed. Government offices are open 1 or 2 days a week. So we're very positive that we'll get a positive response on our permit applications, but it might just take a little bit longer. That being said, we do have a permitted drill program moving forward. The other asset we have, the Topal Gold Copper Project, located in Michoacan, about 4.5 hours southwest of Guadalajara. We acquired that in 2018 as a share transaction, and so we have 100% ownership on that. The vendors, underlying vendors, have a 2.5% NSR. The current M&I resource is a 1.8 million ounce measured and indicated 812 million pound copper system. About $27 million have been spent to date. PEA or PFS done in 2012, PEA 2013, updated PEA done in 2017. It's a very advanced project, and it's a totally different beast than the Zacatecas assets. This was discovered by regional grassroots project generation targeting and has seen about 68,000 meters of drilling since then. It's been in the hand of a number of majors, Teck, Inco, Hecla, and then a handful of juniors. And at one point, Geologics, our predecessor, had a market cap of over $200 million on this project alone. We purchased this project for about $4 million in stock at the end of 2018, and so it truly was a acquisition at the bottom of the market, very much a value-added acquisition, accretionary transaction. The project has excellent infrastructure. We're located nearby the town of Tepalcatepec, which is a 45,000 person town, nearby the national power grid and nearby national highways as well. The big target here is that there is a recently discovered high-grade gold feeder system that has orders of magnitude higher gold grade, and we aim to test that with an upcoming exploration program. That being said, the PEA itself demonstrated some pretty robust numbers. At $1,250 gold, the PEA post-tax NPV is $169 million and a post-tax IRR of 24%. Payback 2.3 years on an initial capex of $214 million. That's at a gold price of $1,250, copper price of $2.50. Every time the gold price goes up $250, the NPV of the project increases about $100 million. So highly leveraged to the price of gold and highly sensitive to the price of gold as well. As he said, we purchased this project for about $4.2 million in stock, so about $1.39 per gold equivalent ounce. There has been about $27 million spent on this property and have demonstrated some very attractive exploration targets. So we have a two-pronged development approach for the T'Pol gold copper project. One is to take what this life of mine production and this proposed life of mine production from the PEA and build ounces for the back end of this. Right out of the gates, it's a nice and tidy PEA with some really good production in the first 5 years, over 100,000 ounces a year 1 through 3. And years 1 through 5 average about 100,000 ounces a year, but all over about 150,000 gold equivalent ounces. You can see that in the year 6 through 10, the ounce production drops off and the mine capital costs cash costs start to increase significantly. So that being said, there is about a 79,000 ounce a year life of mine production, 32 million pounds of copper, and we're confident we can get that number up to about 100,000 ounces a year. At this point, the all-in sustaining or mine site all-in sustaining cost is about $396 per ounce, so still quite a low-cost operator. And so how are we going to add ounces to the back end? And that's not taking the ounces from the front end and spreading them to the back. We're looking at adding organic ounces to this project. We don't think that there's any need to touch those ounces in the front end. They're right out of the gates going to put a lot of gold pour a lot of gold. And there's a lot of evidence that there's a number of key things we can do to demonstrate the near-term ounce building potential. This project has historically been drilled as a copper-gold porphyry, which it's not. It is an intrusion-related gold system, structurally hosted gold system. There are some porphyry components to it, but we think that those blinders have really prevented this project from truly being understood. But that being said, some of the highest grade NSR value rock is outside of the conceptual pit boundaries of the South Zone pit. So 188 meters of a gram gold, 142 meters of 0.9 grams gold. It's some of the highest value NSR rock, and we plan to drill test that to bring those inferred ounces up into a measured and indicated category. Most of the holes, due to the fact that this was looked at as a porphyry and just drilled as a bulk tonnage homogeneous unit, most of the holes into this project are vertical drill holes. There's very little angled drilling, and there's almost no oriented core drilling. So really necessary for truly understanding what the structures are. So early November, we started project workup on this, aimed at picking up what the first, second, and third order structures are, as it looks like gold is lining up quite compelling gold targets lining up on the second order structures of the property. With that in mind, some of the historical drilling that has been done testing some of these high-grade epithermal targets have come back with some pretty nice gold numbers, up to 25 grams gold and 565 grams silver. So pretty robust gold targets that could add ounces quickly to the back end of this model. The exploration upside at T'Pol was really identified in 2017 by the Gillian Curval and Chris Lloyd, and the work that they did in creating a kind of a preliminary structural model for this project. And when these surface geochemical targets are dropped onto the structural model, you can see that they're really lining up in these dilational zones between second and third order structures or along these second order structures. And at surface, they're almost, they're orders of magnitude higher gold and silver grades, up to 150 grams silver on surface, up to 5 grams gold on surface. And as I said, when these targets have been hit with drilling, up to 25 grams gold, 500 grams silver. So we'll start our project workup looking at the re-engineering and some of the grade drilling within the existing South Pit, North Pit, and Tizate pits, both along strike and especially at depth in the South Pit, and then moving this drill around into some of the exploration targets into these more high sulfidation style targets outside of the proposed pit boundaries. So really, what's the summary and why is Defiance an attractive company to work with here? We have a robust resource base at T'Pol, 1.8 million ounces of gold measured and indicated, and we have significant exploration potential at both projects. Our team is a proven team. Both our board of directors and management have been involved in a number of exploration and discovery successes that have led to M&A and mine development. Our in-country team are a crack team of explorers with decades of experience working in these metal systems. Both of our projects are highly leveraged to precious metal prices. We have T'Pol with an incredible gold price sensitivity. As I talked about, the increasing NSR or increasing NPV based on the price of gold is remarkable. But the San Nicasio excellent resource upside right now. We have demonstrated the vertical extent extends about 200 meters below the current resource estimate. And we know that in the camp, a number of these discoveries are being made at that sort of 600-meter mark. So lots of room to move in the vertical extent of the system.
Sorry, Doug, that's just over 20 minutes now. So thanks very much for that presentation. We have to allow people to move on to our next presentation. And thank you, Chris, as well.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.